City News tonight. President Tinubu orders sales of crude oil in Naira to Dangote Company. Governor Adeleke warns against violence as the nation prepares for protest. Court restricts protesters in Lagos to Freedom Park. And coming from the foreign scene, Liberian court issues arrest warrant for former Minister of Finance. Good evening, the major reports. I am Babatunde Fanopo. President Bola Tinubu has approved the sale of crude oil to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in Naira in order to crush the prices of domestically refined petroleum products. According to the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Publicity, Bayo Onanuga, operators in the downstream oil sector commended the move by the President, stating that it would boost the output of domestic refineries, shore up the country's foreign exchange reserves, and strengthen the Naira. They also hailed the media for putting the matter on the front burner, stressing that Nigerian refinery should not continue to struggle to get the United States dollar to procure a commodity that is produced in the country. Onanuga said the Federal Executive Council adopted the move to ensure the stability of the pump price of refined fuel and dollar-naira exchange rates. Dangote Refinery has been embroiled in a crude oil supply crisis with the international oil companies operating in Nigeria. The nation's crude oil production of 1.6 million barrels daily is expected to hit 2 million barrels by the end of the year, given the current full support of the Nigerian Navy, leading to a reduction in crude oil theft in the country. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari, disclosed this in Abuja at a meeting of maritime stakeholders convened by the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. The NNPCL, represented by the Managing Director, Pipeline NNPCL, Mr. Florence Shokeri, appreciated the support of the Nigerian Navy to the organization and expressed optimism that the target will be met. He expressed the support by the Nigerian Navy towards the reduction in oil theft and pipeline vandalism. In a bid to cushion the effect of the inflationary trend in Nigeria, the federal government, through the Nigeria Customs Service, has suspended import duties and taxes on some items to make them more affordable to Nigerians. Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Mr. Adewale Adeniyi, said that the government is committed to addressing the situation in a seamless manner with a view to reducing hunger in the land. He explained that global inflation is impacting countries worldwide, including Nigeria, adding that the agency has streamlined export processes to facilitate the efficient movement of Nigerian goods to international markets. He said this initiative includes the introduction of advanced ruling systems, authorized economic operators, and a time-release study designed to enhance trade, stimulate the economy, and create new opportunities. The customs boss further explained that these reforms will provide farmers, artisans, and entrepreneurs with a faster path to global markets, thereby benefiting their families and communities. The federal government said it has created centers across the country where Nigerians can purchase a 50 kg bag of rice for 40,000 naira. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris revealed this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. Idris said this is one of several initiatives by the Tinubu administration to ease living conditions for citizens, arguing that the nationwide protest scheduled to begin on August 1 is unnecessary since President Tinubu is already protesting on behalf of the people. The minister stated that the position of the FEC is that most of the demands that the protesters are making are actually being addressed by the federal government, and therefore it is the view of the government that there is really no need for the protest again. He enumerated the recent efforts by the government, which distributed 740 trucks of grains to states, announcing that 50 kg bags of rice can now be obtained for 40,000 at designated centers nationwide, that 20 trucks had been given to each state governor for onward distribution to the people. Osun State Local Government Areas Creation and Administration Amendment Number 7 Bill and Osun State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Number 1 Bill have scaled through the second reading. While speaking, the Speaker, Honorable Adewale Egbedu, said the amendment of the bills under consideration became imperative against the background of the recent Supreme Court judgment that grants autonomy to all 774 local government areas across the country. Parliamentary reporter Oluwatosin Oladokun completes the story.
The House started the legislative session by observing a minute silence in honor of the slain Civil Defense Corps officer at Oriliewu and Hararomiwu crisis. Earlier, the lawmaker representing Aida, the state constituency, Honorable Follow Osogbo Dare, during the matter of public urgent importance, lauded Governor Adeleke timely intervention and security agents for salvaging the situation. He prayed and pleaded to the House on the need to set up a committee that will unravel the cause of the crisis, just as the need to come up with a compensation template to the family of the slain Civil Defense Corps officer and other victims of the Oriliewu and Hararomiwu.
This morning, to call on our dear Governor, Asiwaju Adeleke, Osun State Government, and this Honorable Assembly to compliment the earlier mayors, taking it as subdue the tension of the crisis in both communities by setting up an investigation and damages assessment committee to know the root cause of the crisis and award compensation to those who have lost their loved ones and property where necessary.
Thereafter, lawmakers substantially debated on the constitutionality and legality on Osun State Local Government Area Creation and Administration Amendment Number 7 Bill and Osun State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Number 1B, in line with the pronouncement of the Supreme Court verdict. According to the Speaker, Honorable Adewale Egbedu, the amendment is imperative in combination to the recent judgment of the Supreme Court that grants full financial autonomy to 774 local government areas across the country.
It is obvious that numerous benefits will be achieved in our state through this bill if passed together. I therefore align myself with various contributions that supported the constitution of the bill. We can now therefore go to the second reading. Thank you.
The said bills under the consideration later entered the policy trust, and at the policy trust were led by the duo of the deputy majority leader of the House, Honorable Adekunle Oladimeji and Honorable Adeyemi Adewumi. He highlighted the reason why the House should work assiduously for the timely passage of the bills in accordance with the verdicts of the Supreme Court. Speaking in the same vein, Honorables Ibrahim Hafiz, Taufik Olaiwola, Kami Ajibola, Lawrence Adioti, Abiola Aweyi, Wale Akerele, Olumide Fatumishi, and Laide Ajibola said the amendment of the bills will safeguard and prevent any outcome of litigation that may occur after local government election. The bills therefore sailed through the hurdle of second reading, just as the House dissolved into the Committee of O for the further consideration of the bills. Reporting the progress report at the Committee of O, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Adewale Egbedu, said all the clauses and adjustments that Supreme court stated will be addressed accordingly. Oluwatosin Oladokun, OSBC News.
Ahead of the planned nationwide protest scheduled to commence between August 1 and 10 throughout Nigeria and the state the state governor, Senator Adeleke, has stressed the need for members of the civil society organizations in the state as well as other stakeholders planning to take part in the protest to eschew any act capable of undermining the peace and security of the state. Released by the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Oluomo Kolakwalimi, Governor Adeleke, who acknowledged that the protesters have the inalienable rights to as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to embark on a protest, frowned at any act that has a tendency of mortgaging the peace and tranquility of the state and its people. Represented by the State Deputy Governor, Prince Kola Adewusi, alongside some members of the Osun State Executive Council, Governor Adeleke had a mutually comprehensive citizen engagement dialogue with the members of the civil society organizations and other groups throughout Osun State who converged on finance building State Secretariat for the dialogue. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has appealed to the organizers of the nationwide protest to shelve their actions and give the federal government more time in the interest of the country and its citizens. Speaker Abbas, who noted the frustrations and reservations of the Nigerian youth, said the President Bola Tinubu administration is not relenting in its efforts to bring succor to Nigerians. The Speaker also said the House of Representatives has taken measures to continuously engage the youth to hear their yearnings and aspirations with a view to addressing them. Speaker Abbas added that the Tinubu-led administration has also made significant strides in providing access to funds for young entrepreneurs through various schemes such as the Consumer Credit Scheme, designed to support innovation and enterprise. He also noted that the House is focusing job creation and skills development programs to enhance employability and creating sustainable livelihoods. He therefore urged them to remember that the nation building is a collective task, adding that people should shun violence and embrace dialogue. The Police Service Commission has called on Nigerians to give peace a chance and support the federal government in its determined efforts to improve the living conditions of its citizenry. The Commission made this call in a statement signed by the head Press and Public Relations Ikechukwu Ani on behalf of its chairman DIG Hashimu Argungu, retired 2 newsmen. Argungu noted the need for Nigerians to appreciate the efforts of the government in rebuilding the fractured Nigerian nation and avoid the temptation of falling prey to merchants of war. He stated that the present government needs what the present government needs now is the support of Nigerians to consolidate on its efforts to deepen democracy and bring prosperity across the nation. He warned that the democratic gesture should not be taken for granted, noting that it is imperative the police ensure these protests do not escalate to violence, nor while the right to peaceful protest is a fundamental democratic right. Our Lagos High Court has restricted protesters in Lagos taking part in the proposed August 1 nationwide protest to the Gani Fawemi Freedom Park in Ojota and Peace Park, K2 area of the state. The court, presided over by Justice Emmanuel Gundari, gave the restriction following a preemptive ex parte application filed by the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Lawa Pedro, SAN, seeking to maintain and secure public safety and prevent irreparable loss of lives and property in the state during the period of the protest. While moving his application before the court, Mr. Pedro argued that the chief law officer of the state, and having been privy to notices by different interests who are for and against the nationwide protest, there is the need to protect the critical infrastructures of the state and prevent an irreparable loss of lives and property, as witnessed during the EndSARS protest in 2020. He further argued that there is a need to prevent the protest from being hijacked by hoodlums who are prepared to breach law and order and cause destruction in different locations in the state in the pretext of public protest against alleged bad governance. Ahead of the planned nationwide protest starting August 1, the federal government has declared all its 256 custodial centers across the country as red zones whose sanctity must not be violated. Comptroller General of Corrections Haley Nababa issued the warning in a statement in Abuja. The agency emphasized that custodial and non-custodial centers are critical national assets, essential for public safety and national security, saying adequate security arrangements are in place to ensure no correctional facility is breached. The Ministry of Interior Joint Task Force has been activated to provide extra security around custodial facilities. The move followed a similar directive from the Nigeria Customs Services to bolster security at the country's borders. The Comptroller General of Immigration Service, Ken Nagdap, has directed heightened vigilance and surveillance in view of the planned protest. He added that the other security agencies, including the Nigerian Army and police, have also cautioned against violence during the planned protest. 7 persons have died of cholera epidemic that struck 8 local government areas in Delta State. Commissioner for Health in Delta State, Joseph Onajeme, who stated this today, explained that the disease broke out of poor hygiene, describing it, the outbreak, as a national challenge. He said the first outbreak occurred in mid-February in Wari, Southwest local government area, with 7 deaths before the second and third outbreaks. According to him, cholera is a bacterial infection spread by the consumption of infected water-bound food, resulting in watery stool, dehydration, and electrolyte, saying that the government's intervention is adequate. We are, however, advised of the need for regular hand washing, intake of potable water, and maintenance of clean and hygienic environment. On to our entertainment news. Oriki, that is cognomen, is a time-honored cultural form, but Yoruba youths appear to be no longer interested in it. The Yoruba Oriki cognomen is a form of cultural expression which is prevalent in Africa. Itino Adebayo in this special entertainment report gives us an insight on what cognomen portends. Her report.
It is a time-honored poetic form, a repository of traditional law, values, virtues, and accomplishments. The Oriki has been described as a genre used to inspire people and varies in length depending on whether it refers to a single individual or a clan. It can be sung or drummed. For instance, the Oni of Ife is referred to, among other headless titles, as Onirisha, Jigbinibi Ate Akun, Oni of the Gods, plenteous like a tray of akun beads, while the Alaafin Oyo is called Iku Baba Yeye, Alase Ikeji Orisha, death, father, mother, commander, second in command to the gods. And even animals have oriki in the Yoruba word. The elephant is Erinlaka Tabu, Ajanaku Ti Migbo Kijikiji, mighty elephant, spirit who shakes the forest heavily. The lion is Olola Iju, Akomonela Lai Labe, forest-based circumciser, the one who circumcises a child without a blade. Usually, every Yoruba family has its own oriki, which extols the virtues of the clan, but some are not always positive in its moral content. See this: Omo Eluku Mede Mede, Omo Imale Afaleja, Omo Akenigbo Keru Obarono, Omo Oleyi Lubara Kò Jẹun Àárọ̀, Omo Aṣàlè Jẹ̀jẹ̀, Bí ẹni tí ò rí obìnrin rí, among others. Son of Eluku, son of the spirit who fights with the machete, son of the one who cries in the forest and intimidates people of the road, son of the layabouts who roams town before eating breakfast, son of the one who pets a concubine delicately, like one who has not seen a woman before, which would seem to suggest that the people are war-mongering thugs and fornicators. And Ibadan Oriki also described the place as one where the thief is justified rather than the owner of the goods, while the saying people are described as Ebedi Moko Male. Ebedi welcomes both the husband and the lover. Although the latter part has now been cleverly omitted, some common Oriki middle names also include Arike, which meant to be spoilt, Abebi, child begged to be born, Aduke, people will fight over the privilege to take care of her, Ajani, child we fought to have, among others. Interestingly, some mischievous individuals now construct parodies of the Oriki gen. Omobadiyeku Atalanlo, child of when the fowls died, we quickly grind pepper. However, the glory days of the Oriki seem to be gone, as most Yoruba youths are no longer knowledgeable or interested in the cultural gen. The problem is that many are not really interested in Oriki because their knowledge of the language is shallow. The language barrier is a corollary of the fact that most parents bring up their children in English. To some people, the word has become sophisticated. Oriki teaches us wisdom, but most youths are not interested in Oriki because most of them don't live in their hometowns, and their parents don't teach them the Oriki, perhaps because they feel that it is not important. The direction of African studies should be towards African culture. The kind of naming practice which we have dropped actually represents the ideal to which Western community are trying to aspire. It's not Adebayo reporting for OSBC News.
You are welcome to our sports segment. The Nigerian Premier Football League has reached an agreement with La Liga outfit Sevilla for the training of coaches in the Nigerian top lights as well as the development of youth players. Abdurrahman Adebayo has the details of this and other from the sports scene.
The Nigerian Premier Football League Board, Benga Elegbeleye, embarked on a tour to Spain last week to meet potential clubs who can partner with the Nigerian top flights. Sevilla announced that the partnership is in line with their World Club Alliance program, which will see them provide advice in sporting and other areas of development, with a special focus on coach training and developing the talent of young Nigerian players. According to report by Sevilla, Elegbeleye took a tour of the club's facility, their home ground, and the Ramon Sanchez Stadium. He expressed delight at the partnership, noting that the MPFL will benefit from Sevilla. He stated that the Nigerian Football League have 20 clubs and they all have their youth academies, while noting that the youth development program of Sevilla will really benefit Nigerian league. However, Sevilla President Jose Maria del Nido Carrasco also believes the partnership will help grow the fan base of the club in Africa. In another development, Nigeria women's basketball team, the Tigers, began their medal campaign at the Paris 2024 Olympic with a surprising 75-62 win over to Australia at the Pierre Moret Stadium. Nigeria will play against host France in their second game, and Aussies will face world number 5 Canada in their next Group B match in the women's Olympic basketball tournament in Paris 2024 this week. The knockout stage of the games will be held at the Bercy Arena in Paris, with the final scheduled in 2 weeks' time. Olympic appearance, Okoyori has already made history as the first Nigerian to qualify for 2 consecutive times. In addition to his opening match, Okoyori will face China's Li Shifeng the following day. Despite the tough competition, the Nigerian star remains focused and optimistic about his performance. The Badminton Federation of Nigeria has thrown its full weight behind Okoyori, providing him with a step.
On the foreign scene, an arrest warrant has been issued for Liberia's former finance minister Samuel Twe following allegations he was involved in a $500 million corruption scam. Abimbola Adejoro has more on this and others from the foreign scene.
4 other senior officials in former President George Weah's administration have been indicted for allegedly stealing from the government when they were in office. Mr. Twe, who was previously sanctioned by the United States for corruption, called the indictment a politically motivated witch hunt against him and other former officials. The 5 former officials were indicted for economic sabotage, illegal disbursement and expenditure of public money, criminal conspiracy and other charges. Report says it is not the first time the ex-finance minister has been accused of corruption. Last December, the United African National Prosecuting Authority, the Libyan nationals who were arrested outside the town of the White River east of the Johannesburg will be charged for misrepresentations of their visa applications. The case has been postponed to 5th August to allow the court to find data include several police officers. Critics have said the quota is used to start public jobs with loyalists of the ruling Awami League party. Mr. is in the context of the crisis and with the fundamentals of EU-Bangladesh relations in mind, except all human rights to be fully respected. Abimbola Adejoro reporting for OSBC News.
And that ends the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Michael Adeni. I am Babatunde Fanoko. Thank you for watching. Good night.